2, 3, or even 4 days. I've lost count of how long I've been here in the city. Maybe I'm still wrong. I might have been in this place for much longer. All of it blends for me. I cannot see my own memories, but I do feel a close connection to thoughts coming to me on the spot. I don't remember what happened before meeting Desmond. Yet now I stand here for a reason, where I expected blood soaking the stone. Why, I ask myself. The rogue looks upon an alleyway, a normal path behind roadside buildings, nothing more. Dark shroud of the night doesn't impair the rogue's vision, as he carefully tries to find even a single drop of blood on this unstained ground. He then grabs the hilt of his blade, the one from the side of his belt, and pulls it halfway out of the sheath. His shining, dark orange eyes reflecting of the steel. This blade, fully stained in blood, yet there are new marks appearing on top of old. Oblivion holds secrets from me, ripping my existence into pieces and taking away what's truly mine. At the same time, this revelation, nothingness. It is me. Lives were taken here in this place. But did it truly happen? If no one can bear witness to an act itself or even remember it, not even me. Ashes to ashes. What a load of crap. The rogue forcefully pushes his blade shut into the sheath, then continues to walk forward, hidden by the darkness of the night. Another day of feeling the pain, still not completely gone. As he walks down the alley and tries to cleanse his mind of any thoughts and pain, he stumbles upon an unusual feeling. He looks in front of him at a simple building. He knows someone is close and moving towards this spot. In such place and time, he would normally step aside, remaining unseen. But for some reason, he decides to stay out in the open. After a few seconds, the door before him opens. Unbeknownst to the rogue, an armored knight exits the building with quick intention to bypass the stranger. But when their eyes met for even a second, something happened to this knight. He fell on his back as if struck down by heavy weight of fear when met face to face with this stranger. The rogue, unmoved by this, stares at the knight's white armor contrasting with the darkness around them. He can feel that this man is not a simple knight. On the other side, Taldeus is lying on the ground. Face in shock, his pure heart skipped few beats and he feels as if a deadly poison entered his veins. Moving his body or even speaking a word is now harder than ever before. At first he doesn't know why, but slowly this understanding comes to his mind. The knight is left like this, staring at the stranger. Two similar, abnormal forces push themselves on each other, with one of them having much greater strength. I can explain this. Please listen to me. Don't kill me. Wasn't about to, but now you got me interested. I would not expect a godslayer roaming freely in the most known city of Toma. I am not a godslayer. I swear, it isn't what you think. Please tell me what god you are and I promise you, I can explain everything to you. A god? You're mistaken. I do not have idols of me or people searching for blessings. I am the unseen, without a name. Opposite to what God is. Why would you assume this of me? How can this be? You must be a god. I Ever since I acquired godly powers, I can sense the similar.
Then you're wrong of what you know. What you see is power, not divinity. On the other hand, I can also sense your powers. You didn't acquire them. They were taken away. Speak of it only. Nothing else matters to me.
If you're not any god, I'll keep it to what's important. The Purifier, Skyfather. A god I served my whole life for. Being his champion, most known of devotees, I was put very close with him. I was able to enter his realm, see his true image. And I did many times. But one day he was corrupted by the very curse he was fighting with. We, his order of purifiers, swore our souls to protect this world from this curse. Before he was taken by this unworldly enemy, I struck him down and took his powers so his legacy would go on. To lead his order and destroy the curse once and for all. But this evil is still too strong, and I cannot interact with it like before, for it can consume me too. And so I must protect this power at all cost, so our hope doesn't fade away.
Truly, words of a leader. But cause noble or not, you're still a godslayer. Others like you, seeking redemption, may find it in killing one of your likings. Not to mention the gods themselves, not fond of ones with power to strike them down. Especially gods of the deep, who will hunt you until they succeed. God slaying is a crime against the universe. I, myself, am not to judge your ways, but I find it interesting for you to not have any regrets. You must go far away from this place and hide from the ones who hunt.
The rogue turns around, already making steps away from the knight. But he stops shortly after, for a second.
If you want to survive, that is.
As the rogue walks away, the knight is able to speak a little louder. Even if already away from him, the rogue can still hear his words. My heart is pure. I have nothing to be ashamed of. I can see it now. You're not of a divine nature. You don't understand that such decisions as mine are impossible to reject. I swore on it, and by divinity itself I would be held accountable. If someone finds it a crime, so be it. My name is clear. I kept my oath.
Poor soul. If only the rules of universe were consistent within themselves.
This was not for the knight to be heard. As the rogue walks out of sight and disappears within the darkness, the knight regains his composure. He's able to stand, but decides to stare into the nothingness before him for a little longer, for the words he heard were not ignored. A tear went down his face, onto his armor. He didn't feel it, as if this tear was not his.
Oh, sweetie, could you reach for a few leaves right above your head?
The man is in the middle of brewing a batch of potions while holding a child on his shoulders. His posture remains mostly straight, and he isn't really holding this child. Human is looking down the whole time at what the uncle is doing. As soon as he asked her for a favor, she looked up and took a bunch of leaves from the hanging green plant. Smiling without a stop, instead of giving them to Uncle, she threw them down into the cauldron, missing most of them. A little disappointed with how unevenly the leaves flew, She put her arms around Uncle's head and gave up on trying again.
Now, I know it's all fun and laughs, but we need to make this brew. You know, it will help Mister to get better. And you know how sick he is. He would really like it if you helped him to get back on his feet.
Human was easily persuaded, as she then reached again to take few more leaves, but this time she put them into the uncle's hand. As he laughed himself, he started to make more lively moves, shaking the pot, strongly mixing the contents, and now and then adding more ingredients, reaching for them while tilting his body. With all of these jumping movements, Human had quite a ride. Holding more tight to what she could grab and audibly laughing all the way. As she's having a time of her life, a subtle, weird sound of moving glass is heard, which she now associates with the magic mirror. She looks where it stands and Mister appears out of it.
Oh, talk about the wolf. How was it this day?
Awful. The lack of any progress haunts me at every given moment. It's even worse than the pain I feel.
And the pain itself? Are you getting used to it?
For just walking, yes. But I know I cannot let myself to give in into evoking any of my powers.
All sounds good to me. So what's the problem?
Can you hurry up? I might have a planned purpose, but I don't know if I can fully trust it. Human feels that something is not okay. Whenever Mister and Uncle talk, there seems to be something bad happening. Out of the sudden, Uncle grabs her softly and brings down onto the ground.
Sweetie, I think Gimli woke up already. He might be a little sad all alone in his room. Maybe you'll go and play with him for now, alright? I am going to join you in some short time. And I promise I won't finish this tonic without you.
After hearing Uncle's words, Human feels a little better. She runs to the rock and hugs him for longer than enough. She then scrambles around and goes into the second room. She sees Gimli sitting on the bed, and so she slowly walked closer to him, took him gently, put tight to her chest. Now what? She knows that Mister and Uncle are talking about something important. As she stands in the middle of her room without any purpose, she only hears muffled voices from behind the walls. She decides to sneak closer to the door and try to overhear what they are talking about. But it seems that few minutes were enough for their talk, as she's able to only listen to last words of this conversation.
Are you sure? If you'll wait maybe 2 days more, I'll...
Yes, I am aware of this potion's imperfections. I cannot just walk around aimlessly. I need to go there now. I feel that I must.
Alright. Let's hope you're not making a mistake. I should be able to make something out of it until the morning comes. Then you could... Sweetie, I am ready to play. I hope that you and Gimli are waiting.
Human quickly runs far from the door and jumps onto the bed. Soon after, Uncle comes to her with few small accessories for the bear. And so, Human played with Uncle and Gimli, until not so long after, she fell asleep. Something in this place prevents her from having nightmares. Last month or so was not very pleasant, after her home village was burned down and her family murdered. She's able to at least dream in peace, free of thoughts of the past. As she lays in her bed, lost in the dreaming world, the rogue enters her room. Visibly more in pain, he sits on the side of her bed and looks at her calm face.
What have I done? Would it end up better for you if I left you behind to die? Damn it. A child, a normal child. Why is the world so equal with its cruelty? None of this can be explained to you. And soon you'll have an even more confusing life. I can only hope that Desmond will take a good care of you after you learn what you were put through.
Human slowly opens her eyes, ending her visit in the dreaming realm. She still feels sleepy, but she sees the rogue who seemed to be talking before. After a few moments, Human sits up, rubbing her eyes.
So you are awake. Listen, the future might be weird and hard to understand. We don't know when, but one day you'll have to take care of yourself. I and Desmond can't be around for your whole life. Until that day comes, I want you to already think of it. I want to show you something. A great opportunity. A never-ending night. A path I took you on, where nothingness will be your best friend. Come with me.
Human still doesn't fully understand what is happening. Most of the words go through, but she isn't really scared. She cannot comprehend the idea behind Mr. Stock, but there's one thing she knows. She believes him. She trusts him with everything. And so, guided by his hand, she reaches to it and follows the rogue. She couldn't really notice when that happened, but she appeared with the rogue in a very dark place, where an endless horizon of emptiness was the only other sight. But for some reason, she could clearly see what's actually in there. No light within the darkness, no colors. She was granted the vision of the night. The first thing the rogue did was to show her shadows being shaped in his hands like some kind of sand. She could do the same. After being accustomed to this place, the rogue started to shape this false reality to his will and began to teach Human how to fight and protect herself. Time seemed non-existent in this place, and it's impossible for Human to tell how long she stayed here with Mr. They went on with the training until Human felt exhausted. She wasn't really going through anything harsh and mostly was shown techniques to remember. Finally, Human fell asleep, once again. When she will wake up the next day in her bed, this whole night will be a memory. One she could not get rid of. For her to treasure and learn from, at her will. Spending time with Mr. was fun, since that was the single activity they ever did together. Although she will be able to see Uncle in the morning, she will be told that this day Mr. had to do something very, very important.